Step into a world of romance and mystery with Tomorrow Rose, where candlelight flickers against stone walls, where whispered secrets drift through velvet-draped halls, and where love dares to bloom in places touched by something far beyond the ordinary. There's something undeniably powerful about historical romance on its own. It invites us into a world of elegance and restraint, where every glance carries weight, every touch is deliberate, and every word must be chosen with care. But when the supernatural slips into that world, something shifts. The atmosphere deepens, the stakes rise, and the romance becomes something otherworldly. Paranormal historical romance works so beautifully because history itself is steeped in mystery. Long before modern explanations shaped our understanding of the world, people lived with uncertainty as a constant companion. Strange occurrences weren't dismissed, they were interpreted. Shadows held meaning, dreams carried messages, and the unseen was often treated as something very real. When you place a love story into that context, the paranormal doesn't feel out of place. It feels inevitable. A creaking staircase in a candlelit manor doesn't just signal age. It suggests presence. A sudden chill in the air isn't just a draft. It hints at something watching, waiting, remembering. And this is where the magic truly begins. Because the setting itself becomes more than a backdrop. It becomes an active force in the story. A grand estate that might conceal secrets buried for generations. A quiet countryside might hum with ancient power. A city street cloaked in fog might hide more than just anonymity. It might conceal beings who walk unnoticed among the living. This heightened atmosphere does something extraordinary for romance. It intensifies it. When danger lurks just beneath the surface, every moment between characters feels sharper, more urgent. A stolen glance is no longer just forbidden. It might be fleeting in the face of something far greater. A quiet confession might come too late if fate, or something darker, intervenes. At the heart of these stories are characters who exist between the worlds. And that duality creates some of the most compelling romantic journeys imaginable. Consider the immortal lover, someone who has walked through centuries untouched by time, carrying the weight of memory and loss. Love, for them, is no longer simple. It's dangerous, temporary, and yet when it finally finds them again, it becomes something transformative, something capable of reigniting a long-forgotten humanity. Or the heroine, bound by something she can't escape. A curse woven into her bloodline, a secret she must guard at all costs. She moves through society carefully, aware that love could expose everything, or destroy the person she dares to care for. And yet, despite that fear, she feels the pull of connection, the quiet, impossible hope that someone might accept her fully, even knowing the truth. Then there are those who exist on the edges of society. The healers, the seers, the women whispered about in drawing rooms and avoided in daylight. They walk a delicate line. They're walking the line between acceptance and exile. Their power is both a gift and a burden, and when love finds them, it challenges not just their hearts, but their place in the world. And perhaps, most haunting of all, love that refuses to end. A presence lingering in a once-lived space, a voice carried through time, a connection that defies death itself. These stories tap into something deeply human, the desire to believe that love doesn't simply vanish. It endures, even when everything fades. What makes this blend so effective, though, is balance. The historical world must feel real, tangible, grounded, richly detailed. The rustle of fabric, the weight of social expectation, the rigid structure of class and reputation, All of it creates a foundation that makes the supernatural elements feel even more striking. When the world is believable, the impossible becomes believable within it. Drawing from the beliefs of the time helps bridge that gap. Folklore becomes more than inspiration. It becomes a guiding thread. In one era, whispers of witches might carry genuine fear. In another, fascination with seances and the afterlife might shape how characters interpret the unknown. These elements don't just add flavor, they root the supernatural in something authentic. And through it all, the romance remains the core. The magic, the mystery, the danger, they exist to deepen the emotional journey, not replace it. Because at its heart, this genre is still about connection, about longing, about the courage it takes to love when the odds are stacked impossibly high. That is part of what makes these stories so irresistible. They offer not just one form of escape, but two. The elegance, the drama of the past, combined with the thrill of the unknown. It's a layered experience, one that satisfies both the desire for beauty and the craving for something darker, something more unpredictable. The stakes in these stories are often heightened in ways that feel both intimate and expansive. A disapproving family might stand in the way of love, but so might a centuries-old curse. Social ruin is devastating, but so is the possibility of losing someone to forces beyond human control. And then there's the idea of forever. Romance has always played with the notion of lasting love. But when you introduce the supernatural, that idea becomes literal. Love that transcends time. Love that survives death. Love that defies the fates itself. These aren't just poetic concepts anymore. They become the very fabric of the story. There's also a certain delicious tension that comes from blending refinement with danger. The polished world of ballrooms and etiquette colliding with something primal, something hidden just beneath the surface. It creates contrast, and contrast is where tension thrives. Because what could be more compelling than a perfectly composed gentleman who harbors a secret that could unravel everything? Or a poised lady with quiet strength who hides something far more powerful than society could ever allow? This interplay between control and chaos, between appearance and truth, gives romance an edge. It keeps readers leaning forward, wondering not just if these characters will find love, but what it will cost them to do so. Over time, this blend has carved out a space that feels both timeless and ever-evolving. From early Gothic inspirations that hinted at the supernatural through atmosphere and emotion, to modern stories that fully embrace vampires, witches, spirits, and beyond. And the genre just continues to expand. And yet, at its core, it remains unchanged. It's still about longing in the dark, about finding light in unexpected places, about choosing love, even when it feels impossible. And that is what makes paranormal historical romance linger long after that final page, or the final scene. It doesn't just tell a story, it creates a feeling, a sense that somewhere, in some forgotten corridor of time, love stories like these might still exist, quietly unfolding, quietly unseen. So whether you're drawn to haunted estates, forbidden magic, or lovers bound by fate itself, there's something waiting for you in this world, something that whispers just beneath the surface of history. And perhaps the next time you find yourself lost in a story set in another era, you might wonder, what secrets lie just beyond what can be seen? That's it for today. Tell me, would you fall for a ghost, a vampire, or someone bound by a curse? Until we meet again, may your days be filled with passion and just a touch of magic.